tutorial is going to cover static methods. Before I begin, make sure that you have Java and the Java JDK downloaded on your computer. You can run java-version in your terminal to check. Also make sure that you have IntelliJ downloaded on your computer. And download figure.txt onto your desktop. It suggests that you watch the previous Java tutorials. Static methods. So first, some vocab. An algorithm is a list of steps for solving a problem. A structured algorithm is a solution split into coherent tasks. A static method is a named group of statements. And procedural decomposition is the process of dividing a problem into methods. Algorithm exercise. Take a few minutes and write an algorithm for making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The problem with algorithms. They have a lack of structure. There's many small steps which are tough to remember, and there's redundancy. Consider making 2 sandwiches in sequence. You wouldn't want to have to re-say all the steps over again. Okay, so here is how static methods solve that problem. And here's the syntax of a static method. So first, here is an example of a method declaration. It goes public, static, void, and you always have to have those, exactly like that. And then there's the method name, which can be variable. And just like with variables, you use camel case to do the naming. And then this is how you call the method from inside your main method, which you always have to have in every program. You call it like method name, open close parentheses, semicolon. So, like I said about method names should follow the same convention as variable names. They should start with a lowercase letter. They can contain letters and numbers, and they should follow the camel case style. Example method name here, where the N is capitalized. So some steps for using methods. Design the algorithm, and then look at the structure and see which commands are repeated. Decide what are the important overall tasks. And most good programmers do this before writing any code. And then write down the methods. Arrange the statements into groups and give each group a name, and that'll be your method name. And the group of statements will go inside your method code. And then call or run the methods. The program's main method executes the other methods to perform the overall tasks. Some important points about methods. Methods can call other methods, and methods can be called as many times as needed/wanted. So here's a static method walkthrough. Okay, first I have to get figure.txt onto my desktop. So I'm going to go to my GitHub, tutorials, let's see here, static methods, figure.txt, raw, save as, to my desktop, figure. Okay. So I want to write a program to print this figure. So first let me get this split screened. Split screen. And I'm going to create a new file, new Java class called static methods. Double click to make that left pane go away. And then public static void main string args. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is an unstructured solution where all the print statements are just in the main to create this figure. So what I'm going to do is open up figure.txt, and I'm going to copy all of this, Control copy, and I'm going to just print them here. Okay. So as you can see, this got a little bit off, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to do Alt-Alt to get multiple cursors, and I'm going to space over. Oops. So that things are in the right spot. Interesting. Oh, I see what happened. So let me, I have an extra space there. Let me get this all lined up here. You know what? I should get this all lined up after I put my print statements in. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm going to do system.out.println. And then let me get this lined up properly. And here I'm going to do system.out.println again. Command copy, command paste. And let's get all these moved over to where they're at the right tab level. Great. And now I'm going to do the closing print, do the open quotes. And now I'm going to do the closing quotes in parentheses. And a semicolon, of course. And this one, I just want it to be an empty space, so it's just going to be system.out.println with nothing in it. And this one's going to be system.out.println, open, close. And again, this is just going to be an empty space. And then another system.out.println here. Oops. Here, let me get all of these just straight against here. Oops. Tab over, tab over. And there's supposed to be an extra space here. Alt, to get my multiple cursors, system.out.println, and tab over, and now an open parentheses here, and a close quote and a close parentheses. Oops. Okay, now I can get everything lined up properly. So space there, space there, space there, space there, space there, space there. Okay, so we have some errors here. So we can see that the errors are on the lines where I have a backslash, right? And that's because in order to print a single backslash, we actually need to have two of them. So everywhere there's a backslash, I'm going to go in and add a second one. Oops, backslash, backslash, backslash. There's another one, and another one. And I lined it up first before I added these extra backslashes, so it was easier to tell where everything was lined up. And now if I do, oh, I forgot one. And I'm not sure why that was there, but okay. Run, run, and I want to run static methods. And now static methods is up here in this dropdown, so the next time I hit the green triangle, it'll run this same class. Okay, so it printed out my figure just like I wanted it to. Oh, you know what? It looks like I'm missing this. That was the problem. That's why I was getting an error. So let me put that line in everywhere that it should be. So it's not there is supposed to be an empty space, but there's also supposed to be a line above all of them. Copy, paste. Okay. So let's put back this empty space between each part. Okay, now let's run it again and look at our figure. Now we have the exact same figure that we wanted. An egg, a teacup, a stop sign, and then an upside down teacup. Or just the top part of an egg. Okay, so this is an unstructured solution because everything is in the main method. But we have parts that are repeating, right? Like these two lines are the same as these two lines. Oops, got this backwards. Are the same as these three lines. So there's a repetition of the top part, and then these lines are the same as these lines are the same as these lines. So there's repetition in what we're doing here. So if we look at that, there's a structured way to do this with redundancy, right? There's an egg, a teacup, a stop sign, and a hat. So I'm going to go ahead and make methods for these different parts of the figure, okay? So there's public static void print egg, public static void print teacup, public static void print stop sign, and public static void print hat. Okay, so first the egg, whoops, and that's all of this part. Now the teacup and the stop sign and that. So this is just me copying and pasting around these different parts. And now in my main method, I'm going to call print egg, print teacup, print stop sign, and print hat. So now if I do the run again, it gives me the same exact figure, but now I have different methods for each part. So if I wanted to draw another egg, I would just call print egg again without having to redo all of those same print statements. Same thing for the teacup, stop sign, and hat, which is great. So now we're going to look at a structured solution without redundancy. So now there's an egg top that we can do. So I'm going to create public static void egg top. And this is going to be these three lines. And now I can replace anywhere there's those three lines with egg top. So now if I wanted to create a fifth subfigure with that top part, I would just have to call egg top instead of redoing those three lines. And now there's egg bottom, which is the repetition of these two lines. So I'm going to do public static void egg bottom. And it's going to be these two lines. So I'm going to do here egg bottom, here egg bottom, and here egg bottom. And again, if I wanted to create a fifth subfigure with those two lines in it, I would just have to call egg bottom again instead of messing with having to repeat those two lines. And finally, there's this break line that's repeated in both the teacup and the hat. So public static void print break line. And it's just going to be this single print statement. So print break line and print break line. And I really should have called these print egg top and print egg bottom. So I'm going to do what's called refactoring. So I'm going to highlight this, right click, and do refactor, rename. And it's going to allow me to call this print egg top. And it's going to redo it everywhere where the method is called. And I'm going to do the same thing with egg bottom, right click, refactor, rename, print egg bottom. Okay, so let's run this again to make sure we end up with the same figure like we expect. I'm going to press the green triangle, and we do. This figure is exactly the same as this figure, just now with all of these sub-methods to make it easier to understand what's going on and to reduce redundancy. And that's it. I hope that was helpful.